time in our history, we are live on Twitch and YouTube and set to bring you all the action right here tonight from Phoenix. Hello again, everyone. My name is Kellen Brauer, and welcome to MotoOption Supercross live here on SYS TV. There's a lot of storylines to cover as we get further into this season, and we're going to go ahead and break that down right now for you live with this Versus PC pre-race report. Maybe the biggest news for your viewing pleasure this week is I now have a brand new PC, and that's going to up the quality for our broadcast now. Obviously, we're on Twitch and YouTube tonight, so that's a start, but also you'll see a lot more really in-depth detail of the racing action, and maybe a road will show up a little bit more tonight for you guys too. And as much as we hate to keep bringing it up, we do have to talk about a road. Last week seemed to be kind of a failure with those preset ruts on Anaheim 2. So they tried this week, the MXS EMF track crew, to darken everything a little bit and continue this kind of up-amped lighting to make the ruts a little bit more visible for everyone. It's going to make the broadcast kind of look a little funky again, where everything's kind of dim in some spots, bright in others. But generally speaking, it's supposed to help the racers, and we'll see how that develops tonight. So clearly there are a lot of interesting aspects to the racing tonight. And with more on that, we're going to go ahead and send it to the MotoOption Supercross 101 for tonight's format of racing. Our racing format tonight is essentially back to what is the usual racing format, where again we'll start off with a consolation race for anybody outside of the top 40 in qualifying to have a chance to race tonight. And we'll jump right into heat racing with 250 heat 1 and 2, 450 heat 1 and 2. Of course, top 9 riders going to the main out of that. The LCQs will be up after that, 250 and 450 following. 4 riders to the main to make our 22 rider main events. 250 of course going first, and 450 following it, with 15-minute plus 1 lap and 20-minute plus 1 lap races respectively. So we'll hope to see you guys out there tonight. MotoOption Supercross on SYS TV is proudly presented by Versus PC. Want to build a custom gaming PC? Looking to upgrade your own? Head over to versuspc.com today to see how you can enhance your gaming experience right now. I seriously was just talking for 4 minutes on this broadcast with my microphone muted. That's the kind of joy and entertainment I like to bring you guys here, I guess, apparently. That was very, very, very frustrating. But yeah, welcome everybody into round number 4 of the 2018 MotoOption Supercross series from Phoenix. My name is Kellen Brauer, as I've talked to you for 4 minutes silently about. And this is the Pro Series. So we're simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube. So for those of you that are regular viewers, it might sound a little bit like I'm kind of just explaining really basic concepts of the game, but I feel like we may have a little bit more of a general audience tonight, and therefore I'd like to get people to understand what's exactly happening. So what's on the track right now, as far as I can tell, is the parade lap for the Consolation race. Now, obviously, Consolation races normally only happen outdoors, and it's basically like a last chance qualifier. That's not the case here. Because MXS EMF is requiring these pros to actually pay to race a series, they don't want to neglect people from actually being able to race, which I know for a fact has happened before, where like last year, there were riders that tried all 17 rounds to qualify into the Fast 40 and never did it. So this is for anybody outside of the Fast 40 in the Pro 250 or 450 class to have a chance to race. It doesn't mean anything really. I don't think there's even points awarded for like a Consolation championship or anything. It's literally just a little 8-minute plus 1 lapper. What it does for us on the broadcast that's kind of nice is it shows off how the road's going to break down for the first time in the night. It's kind of like a little test race for that. So we'll be able to watch that, see how that kind of goes, and yeah, that's kind of the Consolation race. Of course, after that, we'll jump into heat races. 250 heat 1 and 2 will be up first. Those races go 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Obviously, top 9 will transfer to the main event. Same exact case for 450 heat 1 and 2 after that as well. Back to the normal format after the Triple Crown races last week. So that should be exciting to kind of see the differences in the racing formats from last week to this week, how that's going to break down. Obviously, our winner last week in the 450 class, Colton Mitchell, took a big step forward, winning his first ever 450 Pro event. But the biggest step was Alexis Leclerc taking over the points lead. So we'll talk a little bit about that once we get to the 450s. But let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun with these guys as they go out there. 8 minutes plus 1 lap. Let's get this Consolation race started. All right, gate is down. And what's always exciting about these races, too, is that I believe was Owen Hillman crashing into turn 1, is that we get a real true idea of what 450s versus 250Fs are like on this track. Most of these guys up front will be on 450s. That's kind of just how it goes. You get a little bit more speed on these tracks. In general, in this game, they overscale the tracks just so the racing can be a little bit more easy, I guess. So for those of you, again, just for the first time watching this broadcast, MX Simulator replica tracks are replicas to a point. They're not exact replicas. You can make 1-to-1 scale stuff in this game. Check out Jay Andrews Anaheim 1, for example, for a 1-to-1 scale track. But these guys do 1.4-to-1, so everything height-wise, I think is 1.25 to 1, so everything goes 1.25 up for every 1 foot, essentially. So a 3-foot single is 3.75 feet tall in this game. That's kind of just, a rough estimate. But then like 1.4 is spacing, distance between the bales on the track, how long the lanes are, stuff like that. So they do that more or less, technically speaking, to provide a little bit better racing. The 1-to-1 scale tracks can have good racing on them, but believe me, I've raced a 1.1-to-1 scale track in this game before, and it was the most follow the leader thing I've ever done. So it's really difficult, and that's why they kind of scale things up a little bit more to make the racing close. That's why you can see guys like that riding side by side down a straightaway, banging bars a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of scaling explained in the MotoOption Supercross series. That's why these tracks maybe look a little bit bigger than actual size, like the riders might look a little smaller on them. Like this lane, for example, look at how wide this looks. That's definitely not a real life Supercross track lane, but again, 1.4 to 1, so it's basically like 1.5 times larger across almost than a regular Supercross lane. But obviously the big storyline this year, we talked about it a little bit in the pre-race show, was Erode being added to the game, which it existed before, but now it can be done online. You guys will see as the night goes on, the track continuously refreshes for every race. There's no way currently to save the track Erode file over a race, unless you require everybody to re-download the terrain height file. But the track will get ruts and bumps and kickers in the whoops and all these different things that these racers have to deal with that they never dealt with before. It was very much everybody got accustomed to running one line and doing that one line over and over and over again, and now it's a lot more about finding the right way to tuck into a rhythm section to do it a little bit differently so you stay out of the ruts, or hug the bales on either side in the whoops so you don't get kicked by a random little divot here and there. The more guys on the track, the more the track will erode. It's obviously like real life. It digs in more. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. And again, the MXS EMF track crew tried to do a little bit of toying around with the lighting files this week to make it a little bit more visible. We'll see necessarily if that's true or not, as we have a pass for the lead maybe going on. Doug Oakley versus Brandon Cummings is a great battle, and it's a 250F versus 450 battle, so it's actually a really good battle as Cummings is getting swapped diddlies. And Oakley takes the lead momentarily. Cummings gets underneath of him and takes it back. Oakley has to square up. Fortunately, he doesn't go down, so he keeps his battle alive. Now Oakley going for the quad double, tucks to the inside before the triple. Is he going to try to throw it down the inside here? Oh, Cummings off the track. So he's going to have to settle back in. But yeah, there's a lot of storylines that we'll follow throughout the night. Erode just being one of them as Cummings tries to get down the inside of Oakley, and it bit him as he goes down, and Hillman rides over the top of him. So again, we're 4.5 or so minutes into this race. You can tell by up on the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Occasionally it'll tick by and you'll see it clearer, but it right now says 442, 43, 44. That's just a timer. It also shows my ping and the frames that I'm getting, which are max. I normally turn the ping and frames off, just leave time, but because this week I'm simulcasting and streaming on a brand new PC, I kind of want to see how everything runs. So bear with me on that. Performance of the PC seems to be great. Yeah, other than that little hiccup of it crashing trying to launch sim, which is not, I'm not the only one that's had that happen before. There's many cases of people trying to run sim and it crashing a few times, and so it happens. I'll try to get it sorted for next week, but other than that, yeah, been fantastic. I don't want to take away too much from this racing action because these guys do deserve a little bit of the limelight, but there's really not a whole lot going on. We got Joey Nielsen closing on Doug Oakley for second, but not really getting too close. Matt Mottle's all alone. Austin Anderson is a lap down, as is Owen Hillman. So these guys have lapped all the way up to fourth. Jack Gatlin is out, as is Neil Wells, so those guys have called it an evening. And your leader's down, actually, so Cummings goes down. Nielsen is catching up to him, but not quite there just yet. But yeah, in regards to my PC, huge shout out to versuspc.com. Definitely, you guys, please, you know, it does me a huge favor if you guys at least go take a look at some of the stuff that they got there. They've been a fantastic supporter of me this year so far and of the whole broadcasting situation, but they helped me get set up with the PC that fit best for what I needed. And so yeah, the specs of the PC, basically, we got a battle for the lead. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Oh my goodness. I don't know how Nielsen didn't land on him, but then they're almost side by side on the triple after this. This is just a little preview of maybe some of the racing we're going to see tonight. Oh, Nielsen had to check up. So now Cummings gets away a little bit and gets the rhythm all the way out too. So he's gapped that out a little bit. But my PC is a Z370F gaming motherboard. So it's really high quality, high tech motherboard. And on top of that, I got two 8GB sticks of RAM. I'm planning on getting 2 more 8GB sticks of RAM to equal 32, but right now I only have 16. Those are high quality Corsair Vengeance RGB RAM sticks. Got a, I think it's called an Asus Strix GeForce GTX 1080 gaming. So it's not like an NVIDIA 1080, but it's a 1080. It's a GeForce GTX 1080. So my graphics card is tip-top ruse, which is why the broadcast is probably looking a lot crisper this week. And i7 8700K for a processor. So i7 is pretty much the best you can do for sim. Sim is kind of dumb that it only runs on one single core. So if you had like a quad core processor, for example, it will only use up 25% of your total processing power because it's only using one core. So Intel does a good job with being able to balance that kind of load offset a little bit. And i7s are great. So i7 8700K. I got a hybrid H100 Corsair water cooler for the processor to help keep the internals and everything cool. Also got a couple fans in there. I think that's kind of most of the big stuff. If I miss something, you guys can yell at me. Nielsen is on the last lap after taking the lead from Cummings, so let's do a little bit of onboard action. You guys haven't been able to see the track from the onboard perspective yet, and it's about to be a good battle for the lead as Cummings is pulled up to the back wheel of Nielsen. Can't really see that road digging down too much just yet, but maybe in a little bit. Oh, and Nielsen hits the deck. Cummings goes to the lead. And he's been hitting this rhythm really well. Makes a small mistake there, but I'm kind of curious about the 250 fast line through there. He's going on-off, single over table, triple. I was kind of thinking the 250F guys would still be able to go on-off quad because you can definitely do it on a 450. But maybe those 250F guys are not doing that. But they could go single over table, triple on-off, and then a variation of triple-double, quad single, something like that. Either way, Brandon Cummings makes it the first 250F class victory in the Consolation race this year. 4 races in, 3 450 wins, and now a 250F victory. And it would have been a 250F victory anyway if Nielsen had hung on because he's on one as well. So cool beans, taking it to the 450 guys in the Consolation race tonight. And Owen Hillman in third was a lap down. Yeah, I think these guys were expecting a road to be a little bit more visible this week. What, personally speaking, like I believe the MXS EMF track crew does a great job. Like, they do a lot of work to put all 17 rounds together. Maybe you didn't notice this, but this is a completely brand new University of Phoenix stadium. They literally built that from scratch with a new stadium designer. It took them about 7 days to build that, which is crazy, but so a lot of time goes into stuff like this. The only thing I don't like is I just wish whoever did decals this week, and I know who it is, but I wish he would have just taken a quick second and just looked at what Phoenix dirt usually looks like, which is like kind of this like yellow reddish clay. Makes like for a vibrant look on the track. Obviously, these decals, not very vibrant. It reminds me a little bit of Foxborough 2016, which were like chocolate cake decals, to be honest. So kind of a bummer there, because I think he could have nailed it to have a little bit more of like vibrant decals, Phoenix S decals. I digress though. Hey, we're killing it in the viewership department tonight. YouTube coming in hot with 148. Twitch has 82, so we're well over the 200 mark, which normally Anaheim 1 is the only race that's able to do that, so I'm glad that we've hit it again. I was really hoping we could reach our record goal tonight, but we're not there just yet. We still have some time, though. But coming up first on your regular scheduled programming, 250 heat number 1 will be hitting the line right now. That features, whoops, ran out of virtual memory. That's not a good sign. And while I'm here, I'm going to move that out of the way. All right, so let's try that again. I think if I just go straight back in, it might work. Like I said, you're going to have to bear with me. This is going to be one of those trial and error things tonight. I'm trying to go full quality with a pretty gnarly computer that should be able to handle it, but it's not a guarantee. So see how things go. I mean, I have the high version of the track. The only thing that I didn't do, which I will never do because there's no reason to do it, is download any 4K packs. The bikes look almost no better in 4K, and they take up twice the amount of memory, and it literally just crashes computers. It's the most ridiculous thing that people do in sim is make 4K skin packs. Those people should just not do that ever. Yeah, I mean, my right now my CPU load is almost minimal. It's kind of weird. I expected it to be a lot harsher. It must just spike occasionally and crash my game. So, worst case scenario, we miss a little bit of the 250 heat races if I have to lower my graphics a little bit. That's why I hoped more people would show up to the stream last night. Only had a couple pros show up, though. All right, so that time I did not run out of virtual memory. I probably will run out of virtual memory on the next restart though. So we probably missed a little bit of this race. Yeah, it looks like they just started actually. Whoops, there we go. So 250 Heat 1 is out on track right now. They just started, so I didn't miss much. But Tyler Lewis looks like he must have got the whole shot because he's already way out front of these guys. He's bringing with him Jake Rose, Sean Klein. Is that Nathan Zaworski up here in a transfer spot already too? Zoa Cross. Derek Duraco, who was the middle of controversy last week. We'll get to what happened to Duraco in a moment though. Got Josh Mertens. Russ Chapman, your current series points leader. I don't believe he was fastest qualifier, but I could be wrong. And to check on that, I'll take a look at the qualifying page. Chapman, I got his bike situation figured out this week, and Chapman was actually fastest qualifier, so again, I was wrong. Chapman, fastest qualifier, a 102.0. That was 0.5 of a second faster than anybody else on a 250F on this track, so Chapman seems like he's pretty much going to be the man to beat this series. He's technically undefeated so far, but he did lose the second main event of the Triple Crown last week. So we'll see how Chapman's able to fare. Meanwhile, Tyler Lewis got this whole shot, and he has not looked back. Let's see if we can't find a little bit of a battle. Looks like Duraco's sneaking up onto the YZ Master. Nathan Zaworski ripping up the two-stroke. Again, if you are new to MotoOption Supercross, one rule that is somewhat controversial, somewhat not, is that you are allowed to race a 250 two-stroke in the 250F class. That was a rule instated last year when Race Factor Gaming ran the show. MXS EMF kept it the same. So Nathan Zaworski up ahead there is actually on a 250 two-stroke. Not a 125, but he's on a two-stroke, obviously. So Duraco losing some time. He's actually going to have Russ Chapman breathing down his neck soon. Speaking of breathing down his neck, Josh Mertens has Zoa Cross creeping up behind him as well. And Chapman slid out, so now that's Mertens trying to get down to the inside of Chapman, and there was almost contact. Mertens jumps off the track. He's going to get back on right there as Cross tucks to the inside and makes the move. Nearly contact, and then Mertens throws a naughty scrub to pull back alongside. They're going to hit this time, and they're both down on the ground. They pile into the jump after trying to triple through the section. That looks like it was Donovan going through, and then Clint Martin on the Transmoto ride. So now that battle became a battle for the final transfer spot, but it's not a battle anymore. Zoa Cross occupies that spot. And Stallnier got through, so Mertens must have gone down again. Yeah, here he is battling it out with Reese Harris. So Mertens was in a transfer spot. He has found his way backwards. Meanwhile, Clint Martin's trying to go to work on Chase Donovan. And he might get the pass done. Almost landed on the back of the 59 machine. Now he's going to have Donovan's teammate on the number 48. Zoa Cross coming up from behind. So good battling mix all throughout this top 10 right now. You can see those ruts wearing in a little bit on those corner exits. They're kind of digging the ruts out of the corner a little bit by bit, and we'll see it a lot more developing in the main event, but you can kind of see those little like black stripes coming out of the corner right now. That's where the ground's divoted in just a little bit. It's not terribly noticeable, but it's there. It'll be most noticeable in bowl corners. You'll see it as they kind of go inside before that Supercross triple. They might develop a line there. And, oh, Nathan Zaworski gets together with Duraco, and it somehow doesn't take Chapman down, who landed almost completely sideways on the face of a triple landing right there and was able to ride out of it. So good save by Chapman. Unfortunate news for Duraco and Zaworski getting together. Meanwhile, nothing has been done about Tyler Lewis up front as he's starting to work his way through lap traffic. Still got about a minute and a lap left to go. This one's going for 6 minutes plus 1 lap, as we've mentioned. And a small bobble there for Lewis, but Klein still not making tons of head roads yet. Looks to be going a little bit faster, though, than last week. Klein did not look comfortable at Anaheim 2 in that Triple Crown format. Kind of coming to grips again with getting back into the mix of things as Russ Chapman is trying to creep up on these guys. Now Duraco and Zaworski are continuing their spat over this is now the 6th spot, or excuse me, the 5 spot. These guys have been pretty well locked together almost this whole race. You can see these guys now electing to double into this rhythm section. Looks like they have dug those ruts down in the corner enough that they're not able to get a decent enough drive to triple up onto the tabletop. So these 250Fs obviously sapped of power compared to their 450F counterparts. We're going to see them kind of struggling in these rhythm lanes tonight. Really big, fast rhythm lanes. The 450 guys, I think, will be having a little bit better, easier time getting through them. Oh, meanwhile, Chapman sneaks down the inside of the 58 of Rose to take the spot. Rose is trying to fight back with the on-offs. He's going to go triple-double into the corner. Will he try to stick it to the inside of Chapman? Not quite there, though. Chapman hangs on to the spot on the 29. So Chapman continues his fight forward, and oh, there Chapman not tripling up, and Rose did. He almost pulls alongside, but he has to back out of the challenge as Chapman had a better line sweeping through the corner there. But white flag is in the air for your race leader, Lewis, who's sideways down off the track and comes back on right in front of Chapman, who will then take the lead going into turn 1. And now Rose is right there. Oh, and Lewis loses the front wheel. It's all coming apart for the 35. He had it all going, and it looks like the Erode Demons have snuck up and bit him a little bit. He might have slipped coming out of that last corner where the Erode's getting really deep coming into it. Oh, and the 35 goes down. Rose jumps off the track to take some evasive maneuvers. That's going to open the door for Sean Klein to come through, so Lewis now gets going back in the 4 spot after leading so much of this race. And wouldn't you know it, Russ Chapman, who was buried early on in this one outside of transfer spot at one point, worked his way up inside of the top 10 and methodically picked off a couple guys and then got the lead handed to him. And Tyler Lewis blew it on the last lap, and you can see Chapman, like I said, nailing that triple into the rhythm. But how about it, picking up right where he left off from Anaheim and the 3 weeks before. Russ Chapman is your heat number 1 winner here, 250 West action. Really good ride out of him to come through the field and get that win. That's solid for gate pick. Sean Klein and Tyler Lewis are going to bout for the 3rd finishing spot to the corner here, and Klein could have been a little bit less friendly, but hands it to Lewis. Cuts could still come into play. I'll tell you what that means in a second as Clint Martin comes through for 5th. Looks like Duraco and Zaworski are safe. I'm sorry, that's Dunavant ahead of Zaworski. Duraco is behind him, so Zaworski got around Duraco late here. And Saulnier is going to get that last transfer spot. So, saw a couple guys batting for that last transfer spot and ended up kind of falling apart. Zoe Cross was in it, must have fallen out as Austin Bear goes down through the whoops. Fernando Andrade. Jordan Moxie is a pretty regular main event guy, and he is not going through out of this heat race. Hubbard, Hedge, Mertens, Dar, Nick Usick, and myself in warm-up mode. Again, heat race winner Russ Chapman has already discode because I think he's going to go read chat. And I'm going to do this real quick. And just as a precaution, if my game crashes again, I'm going to lower my graphics a tick. So I'm going to bring this down to, let's do 512. And bring that down to 95. So just a tick. I'll try. If my game crashes again, at least I load in the next time with those settings. Although I guess if it crashes, I'd have to redo the settings. So that was basically a pointless maneuver. All right, still got really good broadcast numbers coming in. So excited to have all of you guys joining us. Just getting a text from SYS Racing Team Rider Nathan Zaworski, who just put it into his first main event in, boy, digging through the vault. Has to be 2015, if not earlier. It's got a 2015 or earlier. It's been almost 3 years since Zaworski's put it in a main event. So how about them apples on the Two Smoke and all? Zaworski, for those of you that don't know much about MX Simulator history, used to be one of the better players in this game. Actually had a shot at winning the 250 East title in 2012, but ended up not coming through there, and I ran out of virtual memory again. So we're going to go ahead and reload sim and try to turn those graphics down a smidge, like I said. Bam, bam, bam. Got to quit and relaunch. And try again. But yeah, Zaworski, he won 2 nationals in 2012 as well on a 250F. And was again fighting for the title there, but did not win. He was a part of the winning 2010 MX Simulator of Nations USA team. So, super OG. I know, it's pretty hard to believe this game will be 10 years old at the end of this year, but that is the truth. All right, loading in. 250 Heat 2 will be coming up next. And load times in MX Simulator are always fantastic. Normally speaking, a race would not start until you've loaded in. That's if you're in the race. Because I'm in warm-up mode, the race doesn't need to wait for me to load into the game to work. So while I sit here and wait for my game to load ever so patiently, these guys are probably already on their parade lap, maybe even finishing it up. And it might take it a little extra time to load in just because they may restart for the actual race, and my game will continue to kind of process all that. So give it a minute. I think we'll make it work. All right, so it always does this, where it essentially times me out, but if I load back in, we may have made it this time, or we may have not. No, we did not. All right. So 250 Heat 2 is underway, and I hope that's the last start I missed tonight, but normally there's a parade lap for these issues, and, well, they are really quick to the gun tonight with the parade laps. So up front is Isaiah Dickerson, the number 65 machine for MV Films. Craig Leake sits second, Matthias Janis sits third. In fact, Janis already going to work on Leake here. Then Jake Warden, just a host of red machines running up front. Dakota French, Colby Eagland, Devin Ryan, and Zach Dupuy, and Gustavo Diniz is in that final transfer spot right now. So we'll keep an eye a little bit back here about what's going on. He's got Jonathan Hughes, Chase McDonald, Kevin Gonzalez, and Logan Leitzel all right behind him. And a couple other guys just there in the background as well. So we'll continue to keep an eye on these last transfer spot battles. Don't want to miss too much action up front, though, as Craig Leake has made his pass for the lead, so he was going after Dickerson. Dickerson, one of the more highly touted amateur guys last year, was kind of, I guess you wouldn't say forced, but forced might be the right word here, out of amateurs. More or less by his peers, because, I mean, obviously, as you can tell, he runs pro pace. He's got the speed to run pro. So far, he hasn't really put it all together for a whole race yet, but obviously he's very fast. But, yeah, I think it was right near the beginning of Nationals last year, they finally got him to move up. He had a couple bad Nationals and then finally started putting it together near the end of Nationals. I think he got a couple top 10s. That's what earned him the national number 65. The career number of 11 on Craig Leake, he earned that back in 2016 after he had a fantastic 250 outdoor campaign, finishing third. And went into 17 kind of expecting to be a contender in Supercross, was far from it. And by the time outdoors came around again, he was kind of an afterthought. Put in a couple good rides, but still hasn't quite found that form, that magical form he had right there at the end of 2016 as Dickerson goes to the lead. And Janis is trying to get around Leake as well. Squares him up before the finish line, but not able to pull alongside there. Really good close action for the lead, as that is Dickerson going off the side of the track. He must have got the rhythm section all wrong, because as far as I could tell, he was just sideways on the corner of the screen right there. And now Janis is going to have to go to work again. He's keeping things close here with Leake. Let's actually go on board with the number 41. Oh, I need to keep remembering to take this out to my normal field of view. So this is onboard perspective from your second place rider, Matthias Janis. Get a little bit more detailed look at this track here in Phoenix. Not able to get that triple up onto the table, and then this triple over the single is really a huck. You can see he's kind of struggling, starting to lose some ground to your race leader now. And that corner before finish line is getting real dug out too. Jake Warden's moved up to third, so he's riding really well. Ahead of Devin Ryan, Zach Dupuy, now up into the 5 spot. Leitzel is really charging forward too, as he was back in 12th or 13th when we saw him last. He's now up to the 6th spot, trying to run down Dupuy. And then there's a gang of riders teamed up behind this. 7th spot of Hughes, 8th spot of Eagland, and the final transfer spot to French, but that's about to change as Eagland goes up and over the bars, so French moves into 8th. Dickerson, who was your early race leader, is now 9th, but he's about to get that spot away from French, I think. French really botched the triple there. Not going to lose the spot yet, though, and Dickerson gets into the back of him. Oh, watch out, we got another rider coming in. That's Kevin Gonzalez on the 182, and so a couple guys squirt by, and there's contact in the air between the that's the 827 of Guido and the 31 of Gebhardt. Gebhardt won the second main event at Anaheim last week, so if he misses the main here, that's going to be an absolute disaster for him. So resetting things just a little bit, and it is now Eagland back into the final transfer spot after going up and over the bars half a lap ago. Dickerson is out, but we know he has the speed to get there as long as he doesn't pile drive the pole right there. So Dickerson is trying to run down Eagland. And ahead of that, there's a couple mixed battles in here. Everything's awful tight as Leitzel has worked his way now around Zach Dupuis. And I think they both passed a couple guys because I think they're now 3rd and 4th. Yeah. So Leak leads from Janis. That gap is definitely extending. Leitzel, who's had the charge of this heat race, is now up to 3rd and has a shot at catching his teammate Janis to get into 2nd. So that would be very impressive out of Leitzel to put that kind of ride together. See if he can't make that happen here in these last couple laps as the white flag is waving for your race leader, Craig Leak. Janis is not ruling out the 2nd spot just yet, though. Both these guys are very quick with a start in the main event. I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them hang on for at the very least a podium and maybe even win this thing tonight. But Leitzel, like I said, very impressive in this heat race, coming from about 13th when we saw him the first time to get up to 3rd. It was a very similar charge to that of Russ Chapman's, just got a little less luck when it came to riders going down out front. And speaking of out front, Craig Leak talked about his old form not really coming back to him. He made a small mistake to cough up the lead, but he got it back. And he's going to go ahead and take home this victory here. 250 heat number 2 goes to Craig Leak. Oh, and the teammates. Oh, man. And Leitzel was going for it. He swapped down. He somehow didn't crash as he ends up backwards on the start straight. Now gets back on the track. He will still be in 3rd. He skipped a lot of the rhythm lane, though, so maybe he'll get a couple cuts there. I'll be sure to explain that just a second. Hughesy goes through in 4th. Devin Ryan's going to put a solid ride in and go through in 5th. Dupuis and Dakota French. Oh, French got hung up on the inside tough block, so Dupuis hangs on for that 6th ride. French goes through in 7th. Eagland and Warden are the riders to make up the 9 going through into the main event. Gonzalez, LCQ bound, along with Walter Gebhardt, Chase McDonald, Stefan Guido, Isaiah Dickerson. Man, he was leading this thing. Trevor Doiron, rage quit. Tyler Fry, finished a lap down. Charles Gable, Ty Smith, and Gustavo Diniz. So Guido comes across, and you'll see on the left hand of your screen there, right below the now official results, there's a bunch of red letters, numbers, etc. That is the cut system. So again, those of you that are new to MotoOption Supercross, have never seen a race before, don't know how sim racing works at all, there is a pre-built-in system. So you can go off the track, you can do whatever you want. You can go all over heck and back, but if you go off track and come across the track somewhere else and punt someone, you will get absolutely suspended for a few rounds, if not banned from the series. So it's not the brightest thing to do. But if you're going to go off the side of the track, for example, and just cut down a whole lane, if you miss more than 3 timing gates, you're not counted anymore. You can get right back on the track, but your lap won't be counted until you come back around and hit those gates again. If you were to miss a couple gates or 1 gate and you were going fast enough from the gate that you started with until that gate that you end up hitting at the end, and it registers that a normal average time doesn't necessarily mean that you're going that fast, it will give you a ratio in reverse of that of how much cuts you're supposed to get. So that's why you see like random numbers. It's not like a guaranteed goes off the track, gets 1 second of cuts. No, it's literally standard deviation. If you're going way faster than average of what people are doing in that rhythm section, it'll just take the average and take that difference from how long it took you to get from gate A to gate B and give you cuts based on that. So that's the cut system. And then eventually those red numbers will get tallied into your total race time. Out of virtual memory again. All right, we're lowering the graphics. I'm gonna try to go down to 256 and 90 on everything here. Bam, bam, bam. Quit. And try this again. So, again, trial and error. All right, man, I'm actually kind of surprised. It's pretty evenly split numbers-wise, YouTube and Twitch viewers, so that's kind of cool to see our regular Twitch audience still showing up in troves. .450 heat number 1 coming up next, though, and this will be the big boys. This 450 class this year is insane. I talked a little bit about it on my test stream last night, but the difference from 6th place qualifier last week to 19th place qualifier, which granted last week because of that Triple Crown format, 19th place qualifier was seeded into the LCQ and didn't make it into the main event. There was literally 0.6 of a second from 6th fastest to 19th fastest. And 6th fastest ended up getting top 5 on the night, and 19th fastest didn't even go to the main event. So this 450 class is really stacked this year. Very insane amount of talent on the line. And did I miss this start as well, or is this just a warm-up lap? Nope, I missed the start. And up front is your current points leader. So right on cue, the man we were meant to talk about in this heat race, Alexis Leclerc, the man, the myth, the legend, kind of disappeared from racing for... it was pretty much like a good whole year that we didn't see Leclerc at all. And he kind of came back randomly at the end of last year to earn his number 7 back. He got enough points to earn it back at the last round of Nationals. And shows up at the beginning of this season, puts in, I think it was, he got a 4th or so at the opener, ended up 6th at the second round, and then finished 2nd last week, which is kind of all over the board, I know, but that's what's giving him the points lead, so he's taking it and running with it. Got it off of Bryce Whelan, who had our points lead last week. We'll see Whelan tonight, I'm sure. So Copeland sits 2nd, and Devin Davis sits in 3rd. Devin Davis has been a little bit of a storyline this year as well for what's going on track with Davis, because normally he's a pretty good rider. I mean, I know he gets a lot of flack for things that he does off the track, but on the track, he's really fast. He didn't earn that number 15 for nothing, and so far, no good. No main events this year for Devin Davis, and right now, it's looking a little bit better to turn that around as he runs in 3rd early on, and we got a good battle between Reed Young and the 99 of Holden Coate going down the rhythm lane here. They both make a simultaneous mistake, and that allows the 14 machine of Jeremy Hinners to slide on through. Hinners had a torn labrum in his shoulder and had to miss a round last week due to surgery that he had on Monday prior to the race, so he was still bedridden. Now has an arm in a sling, but is out here racing tonight. Reed Young gets up behind him and is trying to chase him down. Still not used to seeing Connor Holiak using number 21 after so many years of Tyson Fresquez using that number, but getting used to it. And here is your 3-time defending outdoor champion Jesse Mullins, and you can see your favorite rider where they are in this heat race going across the top of your screen. Ooh, Holiak, and that was Reed Young down in the corner. Mahan almost jumped off the side of the track, actually did clip a tough block there on the side of the track. I'm trying to latch onto him. First sign we've really seen of a good, semi-good ride out of Mahan all year. He's running in the 8th spot, dealing with Mullins and Reed Young. This is your final transfer spot, so a bunch of Mad Cape Cowies all mixed together here in the back of the transfer spots. Mahan squeaks down the inside of Reed Young to make that pass. Now Simos will have to deal with pressure soon from the 39 of Jeremy Shipley, who's top 10 in points. So far, not been quite the year Shipley probably was hoping for. Last year was a much better beginning of the season for Shipley. Obviously won the Anaheim opener in 2017, but No wins this year for Shipley yet, and no podium finishes either. He's kind of had a lackluster season, but he still ends up top 10 in points and is trying to make those necessary improvements as Simos is looking for a way around Reed Young, knifes the front end. One of those ruts that's already developing in that bowl corner. Oh, and Devin Davis is down, and he's going to lose the spot to Jeremy Shipley. So, yeah, that puts him back into 10th. Devin Davis outside looking in. That is not good news for the 15 machine. He's going to try to bring Holden Coate with him to get back to Shipley. And this whole gang of people mixed together, Reed Young and Simos. Now Simos is onto the back tire of Ryan Mahan, his teammate. So obviously this should be a friendly discussion on the racetrack. They're not going to be too gnarly with each other, I'd assume. But they are right at the very tail end of transfer here. It's only a couple guys behind them that are actually in transfers. Coate has now made the move on Devin Davis to get into 10th. Now he's got to go try to get Shipley. These guys still kind of parlaying lines back and forth, trying to read what each other's doing a little bit. Very interested to see the lines that these guys are taking through this corner as Mahan goes up and over the bars. And there goes that transfer spot he had worked for. So Coate gets the final transfer spot. Davis goes through. I see Honeywell on the 24, and Mahan gets going and clips the tough block on the inside, goes down again. That's going to maybe spell the end of his chances of making it through, but how about it? Bryce Whelan, second in the championship, is not in a transfer spot right now. He has got to get his butt in motion. He's got to make some passes. He's going to quad over Devin Davis right here. He's trying to follow Honeywell, who... Oh, and Davis puts Whelan on the deck. They were both going around the outside of the 96 of Williams, and Davis comes in and roughs Whelan to the ground. So now that's going to change this battle for the final transfer spot up a little bit more. It is Holden Coate, and he is just at the tail end of this freight train of guys. Mullins and Reed Young, and that's Simos at the front of that with Shipley on the Suzuki out front as well. Oh no, Simos, he goes down, so that's going to change the final transfer spot over to Honeywell, maybe? Although, look at Josh Williams trying an interesting line. That is very interesting. It's also not on the track, so he's going to cut back in behind Honeywell and continue this battle. Not a whole lot of change going on up front as Leclerc continues to lead by a healthy margin, but this battle behind is crazy from fourth on back. It is very close as Honeywell jumps off the track, so Williams gets that spot. And now, oh, Williams goes down, and Shipley's trying to get going, so Honeywell goes through. Shipley is now in the final transfer spot. Simos cuts to the inside. Here is MX Simulator's fastest girl, Sabrina Ritzler. She goes down in the whoops. So she's not going to have a chance, methinks, as we're now on the white flag lap coming up. Honeywell and Shipley, they don't need to pass each other necessarily. I believe they're both in transfer spot. I'll just take a peek. Yep. 9th spot for Honeywell. I'll change that field of view in a second. Hopefully I load into the next race. Okay. So Honeywell doesn't need to pass Shipley, but he's obviously going to do it anyway. Shipley made a mistake. So that might leave the door open, but now Simos goes down. So this battle for the transfer spot has gotten way lackluster. Meanwhile, up front, Alexis Leclerc, points leader, red plate, and heat number 1 winner. Copeland, looks like Hinters, who's swapping in the whoops. He saves it though, all good to go. Mullins is trying to sneak up. Maybe he gets a last minute pass here on Hinters. Actually, no, I don't think he's close enough. Reed Young is 5th. Honeywell got up to 6th. Coates 7th. Holiak 8th. And Williams is in 9th, and he has lots of time ahead of Jeremy Shipley. There are some huge names not going to the main event out of this heat race. Are you kidding me? And so, yeah, Holiak and Williams, they're just going to kind of take it easy. They're teammates, ever good. So both of them going through. Bryce Whelan, 2nd in the championship, is going to the last chance qualifier. Oh boy. So is Sabrina Ritzler, Jeremy Shipley, Ben McLeod. First time we've seen McLeod race all year. Very fast Australian rider, but not having it right here in this heat race just yet. Simo's out, Shipley out, Devin Davis, we saw that contact with Whelan, he is out. Chase DeSell, Peter Leicht, Josh Hamilton, Tyler Schmidt, and Ryan Mahan. Whew, that is quite the list of people going to the last chance qualifier. I don't know if I'd like to be in the LCQ tonight with the list of people just coming out of that first heat. Wow. Alrighty then, so coming up next should be 450 heat number 2, and we're gonna see right now if me changing my graphics down to that 90 setting that Jake Rose had recommended would work or not. Hopefully it does. And if it does, then we'll be able to catch the start of the 450 heat race. Huge thank you to everybody that showed up tonight, though. I mean, we've got some good numbers. I'm very happy with what we've got, and makes the broadcasting, saving, etc. side of things a little bit easier, since I can just already have the video up on YouTube ready to go. You guys could probably watch it right after this broadcast is over. All right, sweet. Not only did I not time out, I didn't get out of virtual memory either. So let me fix this, because these guys are about to have a parade lap. And let me just make sure that, yeah, parade lap. The way I can tell that is upper right-hand corner of your screen, the lap indicator. Obviously right here it says lap 1, but as they go on, it'll change to lap 7, 9, etc. If it's white, it's because the white flag is out. If it's green, it's because there is no flag other than the green flag being waved, and checkered means the race is over. So these guys have a 1-lap race, hence a warm-up lap, and they'll get to restart going here in a moment. Man, this 450 class is unreal deep this year, I'm telling you. Just looking all over the track, and you just find more and more talent. Like, look, there's just 5 guys just hanging out in a corner. Including, but not limited to, a real-life pro. Jeremy Smith on the number 4 machine is really fast in real life. Look for him in 250 East Supercross this year. He'll be privateering it up. Well, actually, I think he's on like a satellite team this year. So that'll be cool. Colt Mitchell. Yeah, I think that's a decent enough spot. He's down the inside of the gate, so we'll get a good idea of where he is. But kind of excited to see the first start of the night here. Missed the first 3, but 4th race on the night. We are set to go for 450 heat number 2 from Phoenix. And the gate is down. A really good jump for the 208 Suzuki. But he got swallowed up down the straightaway. My goodness, Andrew Wood on the 729 gets the whole shot. Armstrong was trying to get in there, but he ends up going down. So Wood leads, but not for long, as the 30 of Cohenauer goes to the front. And I might be mistaken, but I'm not seeing the number 1 of Tyson Fresquez in this heat race as Wood goes down. Smith moves into the 2 spot. I'm just waiting. Wow. No Tyson? That doesn't seem right, but yeah, I guess it's true. No Tyson Fresquez tonight. Your defending champion is out. I don't even see him on the qualifying page. That's crazy. Big shakeup. Back to the racing, though. Cohenauer is going to lead them through on the first lap. So Cohenauer from Smith, Fjellberg up into the 3 spot to match his number. Adam Holm runs in the 4 spot. Noah Baker. Ohlert is in 6th, from Sillick 7th, Armstrong 8th, and Colt Mitchell is 9th. And Mitchell is not running, not only is he not running his bike, he's running the wrong jersey. So he's kind of all over the board. He's going to get by Stillick, though, and Stillick goes backwards, but Tiberino's trying to sneak through for the final transfer spot. Dylan Gatlin. Whoa, Tiberino, full send. And gets a transfer spot, goes quad double to get around the outside of Sillick. Oh, Tiberino now goes down. And Casey Ohlert, all that stuff. I'm kind of wondering, I see Devin Davis here in chat saying Tyson's laps were not counting. I know that last week they were supposed to do the seeded qualifying thing, but maybe they didn't actually do it for last week, and this week they did. So there's supposed to be 450 and 250 dedicated servers, and knowing Tyson, he's not really one to go read the forums and see that that was a change. Kind of just does his own thing every week, so he probably just connected to the same server again, thinking, oh, it's just another server I can use, and I don't know. All speculation, but it seems like a Tyson-esque thing to do. So Mitchell now closing up on Armstrong. These two are trying to run together, but Armstrong almost goes off the track, so he coughs that spot up to Mitchell. Adam Holm is still right behind Dennis Fjellberg. Still Kohenauer leading this thing though. Kohenauer is looking really strong. He hasn't really lost much time to Jeremy Smith, and he's doing this line around the corner that nobody seems to be doing. I expected those guys to maybe be able to quad around the corner, but they're not doing that. Actually, Smith looks like he may have gained a little bit of time through that whole section. Let's go on board with the Ford machine. Maybe one of the smoothest riders in game. He's got a really good, nice technique. I think a lot of that carries over from his real life skill set. But he's just so smooth, so calculated. If you give Jeremy Smith a start, it's pretty hard to bet against him winning that race, because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes it happens. Sometimes he's kind of falling apart with a good start, but it's rare. Oh, little hiccup mid-corner there, but no harm, no foul. Very weird track layout this week. Oh, Smith. Man, how did these pros do it, man? Oh, Kohenauer made a mistake, and we're going to go side by side on the triple. Smith had to pony up out of the corner, so he actually cased it, and that's going to cause him to lose a little bit of time. In fact, maybe lose a spot as Fjellberg swings around the outside, and yes, he will get that spot away, and Holm sounds like he's coming with him as Smith lands on the back of Fjellberg, and yes, Holm was right there. So Fjellberg gets forced off the track, and Smith gets going in the 4 spot. Now Fjellberg is going to have Holm tripling to his inside, and Holm makes the pass for second. Very nice move. Fjellberg must have known he was coming. So these guys are going to have to settle in and try to make another run. But actually, we've got a change as Mitchell was able to slide through, and he's going to the lead. I didn't even see him. A sneaky Pete little move out of Colton Mitchell. Where did he even come from? And Kohenauer, with a slight case of the rhythm section, coughs up the lead. Mitchell out front now with Holm trying to bring Fjellberg with him. So this battling up front, very good. Hopefully some of this stuff will carry over to the main event, because a lot of these guys look like they're running pretty similar paces and different rhythm lanes as well. Not everybody taking the same thing. You see Smith tried to go quad double, ends up outside and loses a little bit of ground by going wide, but doesn't lose a lot of time necessarily. Now Smith gets the quad. Will he get Fjellberg? Fjellberg actually has a really good line through there. Man, those lines are pretty dang even. Oh, Holm with the swaps up and over the bars, and Smith gets a 2-for-1 down the left-hand side of the whoops, right side of your screen. He was just lined up like an arrow going down those whoops. Blitzed him beautifully down the left side, and Fjellberg, who I think was maybe being a little cautious as Holm went flipping, able to get around both of them. But it's still Mitchell leading. Kohenauer has not given up yet, and he might have a chance here as Mitchell made a small bobble, and oh, lapped rider is getting out of the way there, but I don't think Mitchell was going to have a shot at it anyway. So Mitchell's able to, or I'm sorry, Kohenauer's able to do that quad double to the inside of the corner. I'd be curious to see someone run that right behind someone doing the triple double single to the inside and see how different the time is. Like I said, though, Kohenauer not giving up yet on this heat race win, and a mistake from Mitchell allows Kohenauer to sneak down the inside, and he makes the pass in the whoops. Oh, and he blows it right away. He crashes in the corner. So Mitchell gets it right back, and not too far behind that is Smith, but how about it? Colton Mitchell, he kind of snuck up and just out of nowhere took this thing, picking up from his win last week, right where he left off, takes the win in the heat race. Smith over Fjellberg, Kohenauer, and Holm looks to be in the top 5. Tiberino, Lang, Silic, and Armstrong. So all these guys kind of neatly tucked together. No real battle for that last transfer spot, so I'm glad I stayed with the stuff up front. Armstrong trying to make one final pass on Silic. He really didn't need it, but no harm, no foul. Then neither of them went down. For Zaka, first guy outside looking in. Gatlin, Ohlert, Spinelli, Cameron Lee, Noah Baker, Garrett Ulver, Craig Richards, Ethan Parks, Brian Haskell, and Andrew Wood, who got the whole shot, not going to the main event just yet. They're going to have to try to make it through that last chance qualifier, which, as we've already seen, has a couple heavy hitters in there. But that might produce some of the best racing of the night, methinks. All right, apologies for the radio silence there for a minute. Just trying to keep my voice sane here a little bit. Get myself a little bit pumped up for these main events coming up. In fact, excuse me for just 1 second. All right, and we are back for just a quick moment. And this is just the same guys lined up again. They're getting the 450 and 250 LCQs built. And while I'm at it, just to have a little bit of fun with you guys, let's go ahead and ride around this track a little bit. Third person perspective, you guys have seen it in first. Now this is what it's, oh, never mind. Did they get the script loaded already, or is this just another warm-up? Yeah, it's just another warm-up. I'll ride around the track anyway. I'd also like to take this opportunity to greatly thank the sponsors that make all this stuff possible. Of course, SYS wouldn't be here without the help of Versus PC. So versuspc.com, check them out. They help with computer components, but also getting you set up with a full gaming desktop computer if you need it. They'll build you one, get you all set up on that regard. Great company, great guy. All good stuff. But yeah, also huge shout out to RaceX Suspension supporting my stuff in real life, but also putting together some video series for us here on the channels to make things possible there. And FamMX Designs also helping out with some real life stuff, but supporting the channel. And then of course MotoOption for being a fantastic title sponsor. The 7th year in a row that MotoOption's been the title sponsor of this Supercross series. And like I said, those guys they're all really good guys, really amazing work that they do. Of course, the MXS EMF crew putting together this series again for us this year. They have a lot of work vested into it. And of course, we really appreciate the effort that goes into that. But this is a little bit of a look at Phoenix from a third-person perspective of these guys right here going quad, double into this corner most of the time, although I landed in 5th gear by mistake, so missed out on that. So like most of the time these guys are going on, off, and they'll quad here, and then they can quad right here too, but I made a mistake and jumped off the track. Kind of talking you guys through the lines a little bit. Through the whoops, double into the corner. Out of this one, you want to triple onto this guy. Jump off and then just triple here, but again, made a mistake. Had a little bit of a delay on that on-off for some reason, not sure why. These guys are going triple-double in the sand, kind of making a really big divot coming into that final corner. Might cause a little bit of ruckus in these LCQs. And down this straightaway, pretty straightforward, just into this section. And then this corner is getting really rutted out, so these guys are coming out of here. They're going 2, and then stepping on, off, and then tripling and singling into this corner right here. So you triple this guy, quad, and then like I said, it was Kohenauer, I think, that was jumping to the inside of this corner. Let's try this again. On, off, quad. Didn't get the quad after it because I OJ'd the quad before it. Second gear through the whoops. Made it. I want to try to see if I can... too late. I was going to go on, off, and try to quad that too. I'm liking that you guys are enjoying the chat. If that's what you guys are here for, because you're enjoying the chat, then so be it. As long as you're here keeping me company. All right, 250 LCQ coming up right now. This guy will be 22 riders, so this is going to be the most the track has seen, but for the shortest duration that we'll see on the night. 4 minutes plus 1 lap. And this is kind of where it's all on the line here. This is for the whole shebang. And I also saw a comment in chat where someone said they hope they don't do the Triple Crown format for amateur racing again. Just a general commentary on the Triple Crown format as a whole. I'm not necessarily neither for or against a change. I think it was cool to see the Triple Crown format in real life and in sim and see how it played out. But I think the most kind of foreshadowing tweet about this whole situation that I saw was Jason Wygant, who works for Racetracks, tweeted about it. And he said, imagine if the Triple Crown format was already in place and that was just the common format. And then you told all the teams, all the riders, everybody, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to change it so that none of the first 2 hours of racing matters for anything else but a gate pick. And then you guys will race the main event. And imagine the kind of uproar that that would probably create. So I think that's a fair point there. All right, so I don't know what exactly is going on. Seems like there's some sort of someone connecting to the server issue. And let me guess. Yep, I missed the start. I don't know what the heck was just happening. I was having a loading issue right there. Anyway, underway in the 250 LCQ. Nick Usyk leading from Gebhardt, Zoacross, and Jack Fowler, and chaos ensuing behind that. Stefan Guido now goes through on Fowler momentarily, then Chase McDonald's in the mix. Guido, Hedge, and Gonzalez goes off the track. That was 251 of Doiron, I believe, going down. We saw Mertens, who was up front in his heat race, ended up going backwards, so he's going to try to make it out of this one. Oh, but he lands, right on the back of Isaiah Dickerson. A little bit of lag causing some chaos there. So Gebhardt's going to lead them through by the looks of it here on the first lap. Gebhardt from Cross, Usyk, and Fowler. That is your 4 qualifying spots right now. But Stefan Guido, the rider out of Switzerland, wants a little piece of this shebang here. And he is closing up quickly on Fowler. Guido is no slouch. He's very quick in the European races, which is very rare that we see him race on the North American side. Good to have him out. I think he's been at every round North America-wise this year. And I think he made the first 2 mains of the season, missed at Anaheim though. Now he's having some issues, and he's going to get passed up by Brandon Hedge, and actually Zoe Cross was down, so this is going to tighten up things a little bit for this final transfer spot. Fowler goes to 3rd. Cross now back to 4th, and Hedge is trying to sneak up into the mix here. And Guido's making more and more mistakes in the background, so going bad to worse. Actually, Cross looks like he is trying to go after Fowler again. Maybe put a buffer between him and the closing Hedge. Hedge looked like he was trying to throw it down the inside there. These races are short, so kind of have to make do with the opportunities you get, and Hedge is really trying to get onto the rear fender of Cross, make him think about it. He's riding that 2 smoke really hard. Uh-oh. Ooh. Full send. Any one of these guys makes a mistake, and their night is over. That's what's always nerve-wracking about these LCQs. They're thinking about it. Oh, Hedge actually got the triple up on clean, but then Cross somehow turned a really bad case into a fairly clean line, and Hedge made a mess of it behind him, so that opens it up a little bit, and now Guido's trying to get back up into the mix. It's probably about 2 laps to go for these guys. So these guys won't necessarily do any favors by battling heavily with each other, trying to take each other out or anything like that. Oh, but now they're both going to just get in. As Fowler was down with Cross, they were both down in a heap. And Cross gets going. He's got work to do now, though. So Hedge and Guido are in, but Moxie wants to get around Guido. He's going to shoot for the inside, get the on-off in front of him, and make the pass. Will Guido have a fight back? Actually, he's going to triple around the outside and triple past Moxie, and then Hedge gets stuck on the inside bail. So now Moxie has the final transfer spot as the white flag is about to wave for your race leader, Nick Usyk. Man, he is not too far in the lead then if the white flag still hasn't shown. There it goes. Hedge and Cross still dueling with each other, but they're outside looking in, so they need to do something about Moxie running right there in the 4 spot. Can Cross close it down, or is it looking like the end of his night early here? Moxie had a terrible heat race. Managed to turn a bad gate pick into a decent start in this LCQ. He's just got to hold on for this final transfer spot. Lap ago, Moxie was trying to pass Guido right here. Now he doesn't need to pass him. Oh, and Gebhardt is down, and oh, that's Usyk too. Both their leaders went down, so now Guido suddenly gets thrust into the lead. Moxie is right there. Gebhardt and Usyk is coming, but will Doiron get there? Holy cow, Doiron has come from a ways back. All Usyk has to do is get this rhythm clean, and oh yeah, he got it. Doiron did not. Up front, Guido survives the absolute chaos to win the LCQ. Moxie and Gebhardt are going to the main with him, and Usyk goes from leading on the last lap to just hanging on for the final transfer spot. Everyone else behind that is headed to the stands for some hot dogs. Doiron, Andrade, Gonzalez, Cross, Bear, Mertens, Ty Smith with just a beautiful straight air. Isaiah Dickerson, Jack Fowler, Gustavo Diniz, Reese Harris, Cody Darr, Charles Gable, Tyler Fry, Chase McDonald, Jacob Hubbard, Grant Harlan. That was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 guys quit out of the race. That's almost half the field that just decided, nope, my chances are over, I'm done. Mertens missed the finish line, went backwards, and then clipped that treacherous tough block thing right there before the finish line. So now we're just waiting on Ty Smith. All right, cuts are in. Let's see if that affects the top four. No, it does not. Hedge wasn't really even close to begin with, so wouldn't have probably changed anything, but looks like cuts weren't really in his favor anyway. So that has been the 250 LCQ. We now know 22 guys that are going to the main event in the 250 class. Who's going to make it out of the 450 class? There was a lot of heavy hitters in that first heat race that were not able to make it through. I think the second heat in general wasn't as stacked, but I think there was also less of the big names not to miss. So I'm thinking a lot of guys out of Heat 1 will be bummed if they don't make it out of this LCQ. And it's not a light list. I mean, there's going to be guys like Jeremy Shipley, Devin Davis, your second place in points, Bryce Whelan is going to be on the line in this LCQ. It's kind of a gnarly mix in this LCQ. Alrighty then, so we will load in here any second now. All right. Looks like I timed out again. So Disco Rico. And is this the start of the race or just the warm-up lap? That's just the warm-up lap. So no harm, no foul. Andrew Wood pulling a sweet wheelie down the start straight. So again, like I said, heavy hitters. Bryce Whelan is probably the biggest name just because of how high in the points he is. He's the closest guy to your points leader, Leclerc, after 3 rounds, so he doesn't want to miss out, but obviously neither does Shipley. Shipley, multi-time winner in this class, second in the championship in 2012, third in the championship last year, I believe. Currently sits 7th in points, would be very bummed to miss out in this main event. Got 250 East champion from a couple years ago, Tyler Schmidt, 2-time Supercross champion Brian Haskell. Sabrina Ritzler, she's won a 450 Pro main event before. 6 years ago it was, but still, she is no slouch in this game. Simo's just missed out. Ben McLeod also very fast. And of course, touched on Devin Davis. Tony Spinelli's made every main event this season as well, and he ends up in this LCQ. So like I said, kind of a crazy mix of guys, and as crazy as that is, it's not unlikely that none of them go through and we see kind of 4 surprises make it through. It's so start dependent in this 450 class. It's unreal, the talent level on the field. But here we go, it's down to this. Taking a look at Cameron Lee here right in the middle-ish of your screen on the 43 machine. Only 4 of these guys will go to the main event. The rest are going home. It's 450 LCQ time for Phoenix. Let's drop that gate. Oh, and Devin Davis rips a huge hole shot. Look at the size of that lead going into turn 1. Chaos ensues behind him, and the 15 machine is out front. Good start for Davis, and right behind him comes Shipley. Shipley is going to sneak down the inside and take the lead. Wood goes over the bars trying to avoid Davis, who had checked up a little bit, and that causes a little bit of chaos behind him. So now Haskell moves into the 3 spot, and Frizaka just had someone literally land on him and not affect him even the slightest, so I'm not sure what happened there. But Frizaka, in your early final transfer spot, actually goes for a pass on Haskell, bold early on, and takes them both down. Actually, Frizaka went down. Haskell gets up still in the 4 spot, and oh, Simos jumps onto the back of Haskell. So it is quite chaotic, but it's going to be Shipley from Davis, Cameron Lee, and Haskell now. Gatlin is the only guy even kind of close to this top 4 right now. Ritzler is in the 6th spot, and she's kind of bridging the gap between Gatlin and the rest of the field, but man, oh man, that spread out awful quick. Tyler Schmidt is back here. Verzaka, who made contact with Haskell, Oliver, Andrew Wood, Tony Spinelli, Simos. Bryce Whelan is like 12th right now. Oh man, if Whelan misses the main event here tonight, that is going to be huge for the championship. He was looking so good to start the season. Couple podiums. Not the best week last week, obviously, since he lost the points lead, but to lose the points lead and then the next week not even make the main event, and it's looking more and more possible as the mistakes keep happening. He gets put on the deck by Ethan Parks. There's a couple guys down, mixed all together right here. So let's see how things are going. It's Shipley from Davis, Lee, and now Gatlin is in that final transfer spot, so it looks like Brian Haskell must have coughed it up. Now Schmidt is going to try to go after Gatlin. But again, huge gaps between these guys. It was so close so early on, and then a lot of crashing has changed the complexion of the race so quickly. Gatlin's actually making a run at Cameron Lee. Cameron Lee, another guy that came into this season, very high hopes, had a really, really strong rookie season in the 450 class last year. Earned number 43. I think his debut ride in the 450 class last year was Seattle, so it was very tail end of the season. And then had a good outdoor season, earned number 43. And again, like so many others in this class, hasn't made a main event yet this year. So he's hoping to turn that around. Devin Davis, another guy who by the 4th round, I'm sure the last thing he wanted to have happen was not have made a main yet, but he's looking comfortable for that spot right now. He's just got to hold on. Obviously, Shipley's got the lead and the gap to work with, so he's not really too worried. It looks like he's just kind of already a little bit in cruise control, taking smooth lines. Although Gatlin he's getting pressure now from Schmidt. Schmidt's really turned it up here. Your 2016 250 East Coast Supercross champion has not had a season to remember in 2017, but trying to make his first 450 main event of the year as well. So would Gatlin, to be fair, but Schmidt wants it just as bad, and he's trying to get to the inside. And he's going to do this triple line. Look at how different these lines are. They're completely different in height and everything, and yet they end up about the same at the end of the rhythm section as Schmidt looked for an inside line, but Gatlin shuts the door. Now they're both going to swing around and get the triple on off. Oh, Devin Davis was down. Devin Davis hits the deck again. He had second place all to himself. Oh, Gatlin's over the berm. So now Gatlin outside looking in. What happened to Devin Davis, though? Must have, I think, may have crashed on his own, though. And fortunately enough for him, Gatlin went down in the next corner, so it kind of ended up being a moot point in his case. And he's got a sizable gap to work with. The next closest guy, Brian Haskell, looks to be about 7 seconds back. So Davis really just has to kind of cruise this thing in. But sometimes cruising is the last thing you should do because it kind of deters focus a little bit. It just takes one small little slip up in this game. You can see he's being awfully cautious. And Cameron Lee just made a mistake up front. Shipley takes the win with a little underroll thing. Schmidt, Lee, and Davis is, like I said, he's taking it easy, really tiptoeing through the whoops, but he's got the time to work with, so he's just got to hang on. One more straightaway, doubles into the rhythm. Oh, cases that jump a little bit. Cases the next one. You can see Haskell is lurking in the background, but Davis has got this thing all but sewed up into the final corner. Davis to the first main event of his season. And Haskell went down anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But how about Spinelli? 3 main events to start the season. Out in Phoenix. Haskell made 2 of the first 3. He is also not going through. And he just can't even get up the finish line jump. Ethan Parks, Sabrina Ritzler, Craig Richards, Casey Ullert, Dylan Gatlin was in the battle. Man, oh man, Bryce Whelan not going to the main event. Huge championship implications early on here with this class as stacked and as challenging as it is. Losing 26 big points this early in the season could be a disaster for him. But we've seen guys miss main events before and still win this championship, so it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not a good start. So Davis, Lee, Schmidt, and Shipley. Only Shipley of those 4 guys have even been in a main event this year. That is a crazy stat. But now it is time for the big ones. The points are coming out of the shed, and they're getting laid down on the line. Because we've got the main events coming up next. 15 minutes plus 1 lap will be on the gate here for the 250 class. Not yet, obviously. We're still getting everything organized for that, so they got to rerun the scripts and such. 250 guys, 15 minutes plus a lap. 450 guys will go, 20 minutes plus 1 lap. Very happy to see such an active chat tonight. Good to see you guys are hanging out and enjoying yourself. Obviously, that's the goal with these broadcasts. Why not provide a little bit of bench racing? Everybody hanging out, having a good time, watching the races. I'm sure a lot of you are tuned in for what's coming up next, though. We saw those heat races. We saw the LCQs. There's some good racing. But now it's 22 of some of the best riders in the world, 450 and 250 class alike, set to do battle here in Phoenix on what has so far been kind of a tricky track. It's not as straightforward as I kind of expected, especially in these first couple rhythm sections, which I thought was going to be very one-lined, judging by the track layout, but so far it's been anything but. Yeah, MotoAgogo, if you want to jump in for mains, that's fine. I have no way of sending you my Discord, so if you still have it, then great. Otherwise, I hope you find it, because I don't have a way to send it to you. Anywho. I am definitely not a part of that group of the best riders in the world. Maybe at one point I don't know, I would consider myself at best a top 50 guy in this game. I think that I could definitely throw a main event list together of guys that are better than me. So, but I flatter thee for the nice sentiments. Okay, so see, the problem, Moto, is I would whisper you on Twitch, but Twitch is on my laptop, and I'm only open on Discord and Sim, and it's just, that's why we'll coordinate for Oakland. You'll be in booth for Oakland. We'll figure it out then. Or if somebody has it and wants to give it to you, just let me know when you're here so I can pull you into the channel while these guys get it figured out. There we go. Main events posted. Hang on, you guys are going to see this for a second. Bam. Do 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 do. I can't. There we go. All right. You have to join a channel, MotoGogo. There you go. And unmute. Hello, MotoAgogo. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We're about to load in a second. There we go.
Perfect timing.
250 main event coming up. And the only MotoAgogo now joining me in booth, who's had, by the way, a fantastic 250 West amateur campaign this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it. 1 point off the red plate right now, and it's crazy. I didn't think to get that close.
And it's been close battles all throughout that class. You and I talked about it a little bit earlier this week, but if you guys want to check out the amateur racing, be sure to do so. You can go to mxscmf.com and find either the North America or the EU Amateur Series. North America Series runs on Sunday nights, and that is the one where our good friend MotoAgogo is currently sitting second in the 250 West Championship there. So we'll continue to track his progress, and you guys can also check him out for yourself.
But right now, for fun, as we always like to do, and we go into here, what is your call out for tonight's 250 main?
My call out, huh? Am I supposed to make a bold statement here?
Bold statement. Go ahead. Throw it to the wolves, man.
I'm gonna say a 250 two-stroke hole shot's not. I mean, that's not that bold of a statement, but it's a long straightaway, so I think that's going to be kind of the case. And I'm not just saying that because a lot of our riders are on 252 strokes, but I don't know. I made a prediction in the heat race that I felt like Matthias Janis and Logan Leitzel both had the speed to run up front and potentially win tonight. I'm going to say Leitzel wins this main event.
Interesting. I'm going to go with Sean Klein. I think he's had a really good season so far, second in points, and really been pushing lately. But here we go, on the gate.
Here we go, 250 main event time, lining up, 15 minutes and a lap. Oh boy, this is going to be a good one. Lots of talent stacked on the gates. Somebody has got to take it to Russ Chapman. We saw a good start out of Tyler Lewis in the heat race, so let's take a look at him again. But the board is sideways, and we are set to go for the fourth round of 250 West action in Phoenix as the gate is down, and it's a good start from Devin Ryan. Almost a two-stroke battle into the first corner, but a lot of riders going down. Out. And Duraco, who had the whole shot, goes down, and Tyler Lewis, who we were on the whole time, gets the early race lead.
And as you called out earlier, Chapman, who everybody does not want to see have a good start, and second right behind with Moxie and Martin right there.
Oh, yeah. Chapman has had a fantastic beginning of the season. In order of the main events that we've ran, he's gone 1-1-2-1, or 1-1-1-2-1, actually, for the 5 main events, and has won all 3 rounds on overalls, so Chapman.
Nick Usyk and Warden going together in top 10 ends up sending him way off track. Wow, what a crazy start.
This battle for the lead already heating up between Lewis and Chapman. Chapman wants to waste no time, get into this lead and take off, but Lewis looked really good in his heat race early on. Maybe he has the speed here to run with Chapman for at least a couple laps, make him think about it.
Yeah, Chapman just wants that clear track ahead of him just to put as many laps as he can, make it like a just practice run and just run away as far as he can.
He's definitely going to have his work cut out for him, though, because Lewis has the sprint speed to make this work. It's really just outlasting all this road changing and stuff like that. He had a real trouble hanging on to the heat race win because of a road kicking in a little bit, but right now he's doing a decent enough job at holding Chapman at bay.
For sure, and as I called out, Sean Klein right now, second in points, is fourth, not too far back. Got Matthias Janis and Walter Gebhardt, Salty Walty over here, doing the best he can, getting into fifth now, getting a pass.
Ooh, pass for the lead. Chapman had it momentarily, and Lewis gets it right back. A really nice move.
Great battle here up front.
These guys already gapping out a little bit over Moxie in third. And of course, you said Klein second in the points. He is running in fourth, so a good start for him.
Yeah, it's Gebhardt all over him, though. He's really got to be careful here. Oh, Gebhardt goes down hard, taking Janis with him. That's going to give Klein all the room he needs. So top four right now are separating big time. But like I said, Chapman versus Lewis out front. This is the battle to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Chapman.
Chapman down the inside. Little nudge.
Clean.
I think maybe a tiny nudge based off of a little lag bubble that was there. But I think it was a foregone conclusion anyway. I think Chapman had that pass made.
Ooh, Moxie skipping the inside, missing the stripper pole. So he's going to go in with Lewis getting right behind him. Skline, that might be a huge deficit at the end with cuts.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that factors in. But obviously, Lewis does not want to let this thing go away just yet. He's already trying to challenge Moxie again for second. And as you mentioned, Sean Klein on the 10 machine trying to close up. Moxie made a mistake, so Lewis went through. Klein closing up on Moxie. Kind of spread out a little bit behind them.
Yeah, Chapman already pulled that almost 3.3 second lead, so crazy lead already. But of course, as they always say, this is nowhere near close to done yet. We've got a lot of racing ahead of us.
Yeah, you never know with these 250 class races. The 450 guys seem to be pretty good consistency-wise. Once they get in a groove, they stay there, but these 250 guys can sometimes be a little temperamental, and when things go wrong, they can go really wrong.
For sure.
This battle between Lewis, Moxie, and Klein still very close.
Yeah, Skline seems to have the little bit of an advantage here. It seems to have the track more figured out than the others. But, I mean, oh, there's the pass right there for second. Clean pass over Lewis.
Yeah.
Moxie going to take second with Skline right there watching him, breathing down their neck.
He's stalking him, but it looked like Lewis actually missed the rhythm section, so it opened the door for Moxie to get through. I think Lewis might have a little bit more speed, and he's trying to get Moxie back already. Just keeps making
Checking
small
on our
mistakes.
leader, 6.2 out. Rush is gone.
Yeah, I think it's going to take either lap traffic being really bad or just a random fall, which is pretty rare out of Chapman.
But this three-way battle is the best battle I've seen all season so far.
Now on board with Klein. Klein's going to get to the inside of Lewis, who is off the track, so now Klein into third.
Pass.
Klein opting to go 3-3 into the corner, and then outside he leaves the door wide open, but Lewis wasn't close enough to try to sneak back down the inside.
It's funny, the whole time watching this right now, I'm taking notes for my race on Sunday, so I'm just watching to see what these guys are doing.
It's a very good idea and much recommended for any of you kind of newer players out there or just anybody racing the amateur scene like MotoAgogo here to take a look at what these pros are able to do, how they attack the corners, what they do in the rhythm sections, and how they adapt to a road, because you're just not going to find any better learning source than how these guys do it.
Exactly. I'm happy to say the last part, like, we can follow as many lines as these guys are taking, but once E-Road comes in, that's the whole wrench in the works. Like, once E-Road comes in into that main, it's your heats, you kind of get it, it's a little bit, but once that main comes in, there's a lot of ruts you got to figure out and everything. So watching these is a big thing to learn how to follow different lines.
Absolutely. This road is kind of, it's still new to these guys. They've only really had a couple off-season races and now the 4th race of this season to get adapted to it. But I think it's so far so good, and even in the amateur racing scene as well, it's not been really too bad to deal with. It seems like everybody's kind of adapted well.
Yep, definitely. But Chapman right now 4.2 up, so they're starting to catch back to him. He might have made a couple mistakes. Moxie, Skline, Lewis, and Leak, your top 5. Leak now starting to make a presence in this top 5.
Yeah, Craig needed a better start than what he got, but he's looked really solid here all night long. As long as these guys can keep it close, like you said, Chapman made a couple mistakes. I caught one out of the corner of my eye where he was actually rolling the rhythm section next to the whoops. So it's not all a foregone conclusion that Rush will just run away with this thing, although history this season has shown us otherwise.
Ooh, Chapman already getting into lapper. That's pretty early in the race, only lap 7, so a little bit left to go. I mean, roughly halfway through.
Yeah, 21 riders in this main event, as it sounds like apparently Leitzel never made the gate, so he's lapping 20th place, Zach Dupuis right there, and yeah, like you said, he's going to get deeper and deeper into lap traffic soon. There's a pretty big freight train of riders in front of him. And that just will allow more opportunities for guys like Moxie or Klein who have open track while they have it to just...
Is E-Road set to 1.5 in Pro, or is it 2?
I believe they've stuck with 1.5.
Okay, 1.5. Okay, just making sure. I know that's what it is in AMS. I just wasn't 100% sure if that's what we're doing in Pro.
Yeah, I think they're going with that as the standard now. I don't even think they're changing it for heat races like they used to, just so everybody gets used to same settings, all night long.
It's a really nice setting, too, because it's not that apparent for a while, but once it starts digging in, you really notice it.
Yep. And on this track, more than any, it seems like it's not digging in much at all anyway. Obviously, Phoenix, real life, the dirt doesn't
hard pack,
dig down much anyway, so I think the track makers tried to replicate that a little bit, and that's why you probably won't see the track breakdown as much as when we say get to Daytona or Seattle.
Atlanta. Oh, yeah, it's going to get so rough in that clay.
Yep.
Or Tampa this year. First time ever. And they also have a rhythm in the sand. That's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, that's going to be really crazy this year with the road, too, for everybody trying to figure it out as it digs down deeper and deeper. You can see, I mean, this is one of the first, like, other than at Houston, which is kind of just like a really straight up sand section. This sand section, I feel like, has gotten dug out way deeper than Houston. It's gotten really gnarly kickers in it and a couple big ruts entering the corner.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to be interesting once that sand is placed right in the middle of a rhythm section.
But quickly, since we're right here, since we always like to do this, and I know usually Mr. Puns himself usually does it, but do you want to do a 50% of the way through a rundown of the top 10 for versus-pc.com, greatest PC parts center we can go to?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'll start it off by telling you about the race leader on iLab.com, your points leader as well. Number 29, Russ Chapman, is pulled out to a 7-second lead, so he's opening it back up again. And behind that is Jordan Moxie, number 20, Architect Machine, the rider out of Great Britain. So he's trying to keep things close. Sean Klein, Evergood Machine, number 10, having one of his better rides of the season. Although second in points, he's been kind of on a little bit of a roller coaster this year. So he's doing a fantastic job as Tyler Lewis gets a little sideways in the whoops. He's running in the 4 spot, though, on the Relaxa Tire Suzuki. Number 35, got a good start. Had the lead for a bit, coughed it up. Now Craig Leak moves into the top 5. Evergood Machine, number 11, having one of his best rides of the season so far. It's good to see Leak turn it around a little bit for Supercross. And MotoGogo, would you like to take us 5 through 10 or 6 through 10?
Sure. Sure, why not? Mattias Janis. I'm not sure if it's Matthias or Mattias, but I'm pretty sure it's Mattias. Rocking the MV Films ride here in... Walter Gibhart. Sorry, it skipped on me. My fault there. It randomly skipped from 6th to 7th, but Walter Gibhart in the System Decal Design in 6th. 7th, Mattias Janis, I was just saying, MV Films. 8th, Clint Martin. Clint Martin was a little bit higher up in the ride. Looks like he's made a couple mistakes. Back to 8th. Dakota French and a lapper having a little bit of a... tussle there in the corner trying to get through. Oh, the lapper almost landing on him. Wow. And then 10th place, Colby England BPC ride over here. And that's your top 10 rundown here for versus-pc.com for all your PC part needs.
Right on. You can see those guys in that rut coming out of the first corner. That is getting deep. as these guys are continuing to split around the lap rider of Zach Dupuis, who's having a rough go of it in this main event. Craig Leak was down, so he lost a little bit of ground. Oh, and Moxie went down in second, so that handed second over to Sean Klein, and now a battle for third.
Yeah, they almost came back together, too. Yeah, battle for third, as you said.
Look at onboard. Look at how deep this rut exiting the corner is. It's just like a big notch. They're all kind of cutting low.
It's an L-shaped rut, too. It's not a clean rut either, so nobody's really trying to take it.
Yeah. Weird how it got to that point anyway. There's a couple ruts coming out of these corners that look really obscure.
Right now, Chapman with a 10.4 second lead, just double checking on our leader. Absolutely flying. He's been on point all season so far. He's won every round, am I correct?
Yeah, won every round. Overall wise at Anaheim, he won. He did not win every main event there, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, Moxie had a good run on Lewis, ended up completely baffling the whoops apart, and now has to go back to work to try to get to him again, and that's not going to help with casing the triple on. Go back inside the top 10 a little deeper, find a battle. Got one here between Eaglin, French, and Duraco. This is for 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see, Duraco. No, sorry, I was double checking your stream. My YouTube on you crashed and it said that you were offline, so I just refreshed it just to be sure.
Oh.
But yeah, you're fine. I just wanted to be 100% sure streams were up.
Perfect, thank you.
Trying to be the nice mod in the background as I'm commentating with you.
I appreciate it and keeping me honest here.
No worries. I'm, you know what I mean, like the almost daily streamer, so I try to make sure that all your stuff is up and going well. Hopefully you're enjoying this Restream.io, everybody out there. It's a pretty cool little app that we could use, and this will give you a chance to watch it on multiple different platforms, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's been awesome so far for us tonight. I think everybody's been enjoying the stream. No problemo. We're about to maybe enjoy a little battle between French and Duraco, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you're still pulling great numbers. 142 in YouTube. Hello, YouTube. And on Twitch, we're sitting at still, let's see, 80 viewers. Thank you guys so much for being here and enjoying the show for Start Your Systems.
Yeah, huge help to have a lot of people show up for the broadcast. Know that we have good numbers on the replays on YouTube, but a live audience always makes things much more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, and on the Facebook page. I don't have Facebook up, but that is true, on the Facebook page.
Man, Duraco has been hounding French, but can't seem to get there.
He also has the leader right behind him, it looks like. Yeah, 2.2 up, so he's going to have to be careful here. Yeah, Rush Chapman now with a 14.2 second lead. What a lead.
Man, this track is getting deep as Duraco lands on, or hits the back tire of French midair. Chapman, fortunately.
Moxie is down, by the way, so don't mean to cut you off. So here comes, yep, there goes Salty Walty around the outside, or inside, I should say, from the other camera.
Completely missed where Moxie even was, but yeah. So Gebhardt gets through now for, that is the 5 spot, I believe. Yeah, behind Craig
couple
Leak.
lappers to get through there. Lappers going down. Moxie gets by.
Yeah,
trust me, I had my share of lappers, Moto 3 and Triple Crown. I know that feeling.
Yeah, getting a little chaotic with these lappers, and sometimes these guys can get up on them so quickly that they just don't even know that they're there, and suddenly contact. And
yeah, you feel bad for them too, because I know they're racing for their own battle, you know, but at the same time, you got to let the leaders by, and that's when the confusion becomes a problem. And you know, we start getting into a little bit of a kerfuffle, as the people like to say, as you're trying to get through them. So.
Yeah, as Ricky Carmichael would regularly say, there's a race going on, and you're not in it.
Exactly. So. Thank you. Exactly. But Chapman lost a tiny bit of time, 13.8, but still Skline second, Lewis third, Leak fourth. Actually, hold on. Lewis third. Oh, the pass again.
Oh.
Blake takes Lewis out for third. And Gebhardt still in fifth.
And Gebhardt's had a solid ride to get back to where he was. He crashed early on. Oh, and just as I started talking about him, commentator's curse.
Yeah, commentator's curse as always.
But he was near the front, and I think it was on the first lap you said he got together with a couple guys and there was some crashing. So done a good job to get back to where he is. Almost was going to have a couple more spots maybe to get with Leak and Lewis right in front of him, but obviously on the white flag now, not probably going to happen.
Yeah, Clint Martin down in 8th, just randomly going through the pack and seeing where he goes down. He might get passed here by England. Let's see, he does. Oh, a little battle here. Dakota French actually getting in there too. England and Martin, three-way battle.
Meanwhile, though, up front, this battle is right behind him as he comes to the line because Russ Chapman is completing his perfect march towards the championship. Another win in the books for Russ Chapman, 4 for 4 on the season. He's only lost one main event, and it was a Triple Crown one that he finished second
quickly
in.
Behind. Don't mean to cut you off. Skline goes down there, allowing Leak to get right behind him. This has actually gotten a lot closer than it was, but still super close to the end, so it looks like Skline will take that second.
That's good for him championship-wise. Oh, Leak down in the sand, so Lewis is going to get the final transfer spot. Or the final transfer spot, final podium spot. Still thinking of heat races here.
Yeah, Leak with a fantastic ride there in 4th. Salty Walty Givehart there in 5th. Good job to him.
And Moxie, whoa! Lap traffic, and that might cost him. Janice is coming to the line, and Moxie will just get over the line. Husey was a bit in the way there for Janice. Cuts are in, and actually, French lost. What the heck happened? Oh, I'm sorry. Moxie lost a spot.
Yeah, Moxie lost, yeah.
And then looks to be it inside of the top 10. Yeah, I think that's it total. So Moxie, the only guy to lose one spot, he lost it to Janice. And your top 5 officially, Walter Gebhardt, Craig Leak, Tyler Lewis, Sean Klein. And 4 for 4 to start the season is Rush Chapman.
Fantastic racing, though. That was a lot of interesting battles towards the end. That was a good one to watch, for sure.
I think this one's about to be a little better, though. I'm really excited for these 450 races, man. The talent level in this 450 class this year is incredible.
It's crazy stacked. Like, there's nobody you could really guarantee to win it tonight. You know?
I mean, it's a real point to be pushed across when 3 of the 4 guys in the LCQ are pretty normally regular main event guys, and none of them had been in a main event this year. And then second place in points doesn't even make the main tonight. I mean, this is crazy. It is so blown open with these championship results, and Leclerc's
quickly,
kind of
if you have it, by the way, do we have a rundown of points of who's in this main?
Yeah.
To kind of like keep an eye out?
In this main, I can definitely tell you that, obviously we're not going to have Bryce Whelan out there second in the points.
Of course, yeah.
Tell you real quick that coming into tonight, it was Alexis Leclerc with the lead on 60 points. And second was Whelan, on 57. So Whelan missing out is a huge blow. Mullins is in third on 56. 55 points for Colton Mitchell. Seabolt a little further back on 48, so it's still pretty close at the top.
I remember Seabolt, honestly, if he didn't, I'm 90% sure he rage quit out of Houston. If not, his points could have been a little bit better. If I remember correctly, he left Houston, correct?
Yeah, you're right. Main event, DNF. So I believe last week he came back, and I think he won the last main event and salvaged getting... Actually, I can tell you what he got last week. He finished 3rd overall last week. So he has gone 1 DNF 3 to start the season. That's what puts him 5th in the championship. But there's a lot of guys that could get into this mix and kind of change things up. I mean, Leclerc has looked kind of consistent, which hasn't always been his forte, but I don't know. I'm looking at someone like... I can even look back to someone like Jeremy Smith or even James Armstrong, who both missed the opening round and now are both in top 10 in points. So I mean, this is anyone's game heading into the deeper parts of the season.
Too. Crazy lap times in qualifying. Leclerc 1 flat 1, Fieldberg and Smith 1 flats as well. So I mean, here we go.
Is going to be good. 450 main event from Phoenix. Let's go ahead and drop the gate as we are underway. And it's a land rush into turn one. Leclerc's got a good start. Kohenauer's got the whole shot, though. He's going to sneak down the inside and get it. And Fjellberg is right there with Smith. Lots of fast guys up front. Not a lot of crashing in that first corner. And Leclerc almost makes a bobble, and Smith goes through. So now it's Kohenauer from Fjellberg.
Josh Williams with about a third or fourth goes down in that first rhythm.
Man, oh man, there is some talent at the front of this field right now.
Oh, yeah.
Kohenauer is leading so many former champions. It's insane. Fjellberg and Smith, Armstrong, Leclerc, Adam Holm is in the mix, and then Mullins also has a good start. So really kind of your main players are all near the front.
Wow, Smith hit a line that nobody else hit there. He had an interesting quad line I have not seen all night so far in qualifying.
Yeah, these guys are going to be pushing the envelope, I think, on this track, and a road is going to take a huge factor as Fjellberg up and over the bars. And Leclerc shoots down the inside. He quads into the corner, into the sand, and gets Armstrong. Holy cow, he had a run right there. I wonder if he quadded out of the rhythm section because he flew into that sand section. Oh, Smith slides out and Leclerc T-bones him. And here goes so many guys. Oh, my goodness. They both had good starts.
No, that Copeland with an interesting line there, trying to get around them all and actually caught back up quite a bit to Holm.
So that one hurt Smith more than anybody as Smith goes back to about 14th spot. Leclerc gets up still just barely inside of the top 10. And then a mixture of guys here with Mullins, Copeland, Holm, as you mentioned, battling it out.
Ooh,
and Holm and Copeland.
So much happening at once. Kohenauer is now down in second as well.
So now, let's reset things here for a second. It is Armstrong leading from Mullins. That changed immediately. Kohenauer slipped back to third. Shipley out of the LCQ finds himself in fourth. And last year's 250 East champion Connor Holiak is finally riding a little bit more to his potential as he runs in the 5 spot here early on.
Yeah, Fjellberg not happy at all looking up in the chat up at the top. He got screwed quite a few times at the very beginning of this race and now finds himself, where even is he now? In 15th.
Wow. I mean, Fjellberg has nothing but himself to blame for that first crash. Can't say what happened after that, but he definitely went up and over the bars all by himself.
For sure.
At the beginning of this one.
Yeah, Jesse Mullins right now having a fantastic ride in second.
Oh, Armstrong down with the lead, and Mullins is going to get it just like that. Oh, my goodness. That was a very subtle crash for Armstrong. He just barely cased a jump. And now Mullins has the lead. Is it goodbye time? Can anybody run with him?
Well, he's lucky behind him. Second and third are going to be battling with Kohenauer and Shipley right here, right behind each other. So
yeah,
that's exactly what the leader needs.
And Kohenauer, no slouch at running with these guys speed-wise, but I think he's just isn't quite in it for the whole 20 laps. So realistically speaking, I think Shipley might have the best opportunity to get to Mullins. But like you said, he's got to get through Kohenauer first.
Also, three-way battle for third right now with Holiak, Armstrong, and Mitchell.
Yeah, and Mitchell's really climbed his way forwards when Leclerc went down.
The pass.
Oh, Armstrong down the inside of Holiak. Nice move. Oh, puts him on the deck. I thought there wasn't going to be contact. Yeah. But yeah, Mitchell was, when Leclerc got up from his T-bone with Smith, and Mitchell loses the front end. Mitchell and Smith, and yeah, here they all are. Leclerc, they're all together, so they've all kind of charged up into this spot together.
I mean, so much talent, as we said earlier in this 450 class. It's crazy to see not just times of what they can run, just how well they could run together, and that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, what I'm liking about this track, too, for these 450 guys is there's a variance in lines that are available to take. We're seeing guys after the first triple go quad double, or some are going 3-3 or 3-2-1. And then in the rhythm section, the long one down the... I guess that'd be the south side line as Mitchell gets put on the deck by Holiak.
Yeah, Holiak and him both go down. Well, actually, Mitchell gets right back up, but Holiak actually gets the legs off.
But yeah, that long rhythm down the south side of the stadium, it's you're seeing guys go on-off quad or on-off over the table and then 3-3 out, or if they go quad, they can either quad single
Battle
again
for the lead, by the way.
Double.
Oh, Kohenauer here. Oh, my gosh, so much happening right now. 4
guys within the same frame, all on different bikes, too. probably the same dynos, so maybe you're
Everybody
not seeing
in chat
that. But
right now, either side you're in, you should be excited for this.
wow, look at Armstrong. Got to the inside of Kohenauer. Kohenauer is just trying to fight back with these guys. Mullins must have had a mistake because he definitely wasn't this close.
Yeah, this is fantastic racing right now.
Go on board with Kohenauer for a second. This is your view of the two leaders right now from third spot. I mean, that is how close it is at the front of this field. And behind him, another 3 guys bringing it along to make it almost a 6-rider train out front.
I mean, Kohenauer is right on Armstrong. I mean, he was a little bit closer a second ago, but such close racing.
Yeah, Armstrong, I think, maybe is a little bit quicker tonight than Mullins. I mean, he got up to him again pretty quick after that crash.
Oh, and Leclerc a little bit further back, throwing it dirty in front of Shipley over the triple, showing a Bam Bam style for 5th right now. Completely reading Bam Bam is all I got to say with Shipley and Leclerc right now.
Back to Shipley on board for a moment as he has Leclerc in front of him. And Shipley again taking a different rhythm lane. Let's see if Leclerc is able to get to the inside of him again in the corner. Nope, Shipley holds on, so Leclerc has to go back to work.
Yeah, that quad line is really working out for him. Oops, battle for second back in. Kohenauer is going to get around Mullins.
Oh, Mullins coughed up the lead, so Armstrong goes to the front. Just when I switched away, I must have missed it.
Sorry, so much happening at once in this top.
Oh,
Mullins down.
He hits the pole. Oh, man. Just a second ago, it seemed like Mullins might have been checking out for the win already. And now it's kind of come unraveled, and these ruts are already digging in. I see Leclerc taking a really tight line through that first corner coming out of it. Man, Kohenauer is not letting go of Armstrong here. He is just sticking right with him. And Armstrong,
Fantastic
we've already seen, has made a mistake. Kohenauer looking saucy, taking a couple different lines.
Yeah, that line through his rhythm was definitely faster than our leader. Yeah, he made up about 0.5 on that.
Can Armstrong even hold off Kohenauer at this point? Kohenauer has reeled him back in after they swapped positions, and then Armstrong took the lead. Now Kohenauer is just stuck right with him. Very close action here.
Leclerc also right on the back of Shipley for third. Just battles all over the place.
These onboard cameras are really good viewpoint with how close these guys are riding tonight. And like I said, you can see not only Shipley but Leclerc cutting down so quick in that corner. Trying not to get too buried in the ruts, taking it easy, using the throttle to kind of keep them leveraged in the rut as well.
Feel bad not to show most of the other part of the field, but man, so much happening in this top 5 all night.
Well, this championship has been kind of thrown so far wide open with not only your defending champion not even racing tonight, but then second in points misses the main. So we have 2 of our top 6 guys in the points not even racing.
For the lead. Here we go. Kohenauer right on the back of Armstrong.
The 33 versus the 30. I think you're right. I think Kohenauer has a little bit better line through that rhythm lane.
Yeah, it seems like he's taking that quad and as well scrubbing a little bit more.
Oh, he saved it! Pike save? Can we call it that?
Pike save, 100% pike save.
Wow.
If I had a shot, I'd take it with you on that one.
Oh, my.
Oh, what a save. Wow, that was way too close for comfort. But crazy part is Shipley right on the back of Leclerc, and then, of course, Armstrong and Kohenauer. I mean, just so much going on in this top group. And then you got Smith versus Holm versus Tiberino battling for 7th.
Yeah, and these guys are all really still very close to the front of the field. I mean, that battle you're talking about is only about 20 seconds off the leader, and we know how quickly a couple fall-off crashes can happen in this game.
Oh, for sure. Trying to just give a pan of just anybody quick around this field. Looks like Tiberino might get this pass on Holm on the inside. This will be for 7th, which is very important in the points.
Wow.
And he does get it.
I just took a look at Leclerc for just a second because I'm noticing he's starting to reel in our leaders just a little bit. And he's actually doing something that's a little strange, but it's paying off huge. In the rhythm section before the finish line, everybody seems to be pretty content with tripling on, stepping off, and then 3-1 through the rhythm section, but the off doesn't really set you up very well for that triple single option. It's kind of like you have to pound into it and hit it hard.
Yeah, gotcha.
Leclerc's cutting early in the corner, doubling in, and then going table over single, which obviously loses him a lot of time to anybody tripling on. But then he's able to quad out of the rhythm and then quad into the sand, and he gains so much time back from doing that. It's insane.
Interesting. I'll have to watch that this next lap.
He loses the front end, though. I think he's doing it every lap, though, so let's see if he works it here with Shipley getting back around him. Yeah.
Oh, and...
Wow, that's a lap rider, Jeremy Hinters. So he cuts down right here. He goes 2 in, and he goes table over single, and then you can see he sets up well, but he's not going to do it this time. He was quadding.
He had to get around somebody,
and then quadding into the sand. It was very fast, and obviously for the sand, too, he's kind of landing where there's no ruts, so it's a little bit quicker getting into the corner as well.
That's a really cool line. I like that. I'll have to spec it next time. Right now, leader only 2.3 up for anybody curious. Kohenauer sadly getting into the tough blocks there. So going to lose a little bit there. Lost about a second.
So it is still Armstrong, Kohenauer, Shipley, Leclerc. Mullins is trying to sneak back up. Then Mitchell, Smith, Holm, and Schmidt is your top 10. So it's spread out just a tiny bit amongst these guys, but any second now we're going to see a battle start to sprawl a bit between these guys again.
And really quick, since we're halfway through, do you want to give a quick, even though we almost did it, do you want to do a quick top 10 rundown for, who should we do it for this time? What do you think, Race Tech?
Yeah, Race Tech suspension, man. Get your suspension dialed, even if you don't want to get a full suspension revalve, at least get the oil changed. I mean, why not? Race Tech helps you out with all your suspension needs. Whether you need new forks, casings, reservoirs, and even engine builds, as Kohenauer goes down before the finish line, so he's going to cough up a couple spots. 3 spots, that is, as Mullins comes through. Well, he's going to get Mullins back here. Nope, Mullins gets him. But yeah, let's go ahead, and why don't you start us off? Top 5
Sure, sounds good. Right now, Armstrong looking solid out front. System decal right now. And your leader, Jeremy Shipley, second, Relaxa Tire. And third, Lexus Leclerc. Old school OG out here doing solid. Is he actually going to get the pass? No, sorry, it was a lapper. Just want to be sure. iLab and then Jesse Mullins in 4th on your Mad Cape ride. And then Jeremy Kohenauer, MV Films in 5th. And I'll let you round out the last of the top 10.
Yeah, coming up from behind that is Colton Mitchell. He's number 6 on the ART Racecraft Decals ride. New to this team this week. He was on iLab to start the season, so that's why I do not have his skins. Jeremy Smith behind that, though, is coming through. He is in the 7th spot, number 4 for versus PC FamX Suzuki. Adam Holm, he is in 8th, so Holm continuing his strong ride so far this season. Another top 10 performance for the number 27 MV Films guy. Tyler Schmidt runs in 9th, your former 250 East Supercross champion for versus PC FamMX TBR Suzuki. And right behind him, Holden Coate, number 99 Relaxa Tire Machine. That's actually a little good battle here brewing for 9th. And that has been your top 10 rundown brought to you by the folks at Race Tech Suspension.
Wow, checking back out the lead, down to 2 seconds. Not a huge gap.
Yeah, it is still anybody's race up front here with Shipley closing in. Leclerc has kept these guys honest this whole time. And, I mean, I'm starting to feel like there may not be any little chinks in the armor for Leclerc, because his old problem that he had when it comes to racing Supercross was inconsistency. And it seemed like that might have been the case again with a not great Houston round, where he was only able to salvage, I believe, an 8th, but again, finishes on the podium at Anaheim, takes the points lead, and again, just steady Eddie, solid, running just constant laps. He's not the old go-for-it Leclerc we saw, I feel like.
It's kind of funny, and I'm not seeing in the way of like anything towards me, but a couple of them made jokes in amateur when I won Houston. They're like, hey, he's taking the old Leclerc approach by stopping a little bit more in the corner before he gets on it. Now I'm like, look at little Leclerc go, you know what I mean? Like, he's still the dog that's actually running in, top podium positions. So his style is a little bit OG, but, it's still showing that his speed is right there with him.
Absolutely. Oh,
right
man.
now, James Armstrong and Shipley, this is getting good.
Shipley had to run in that rhythm, and Armstrong made a small bobble, and they are in lap traffic right now. Armstrong had to check up in the corner as he got around. That might have been, I think, for Zaka. Shipley is closing. Will Shipley be the one to refuse to lose, dare I say it? Shipley, out of the LCQ, could have a shot at winning this thing tonight. Are you kidding?
In a way it would, but wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
it's a very, like, either one of these two could easily win, but man, like, Shipley is putting it on Armstrong.
It's amazing sometimes watching these pro guys, the way that they hit sections, and it just looks like they're hitting stuff so hard, but it still looks like they're just floating.
Quad in?
And then he doubles to the inside. Watch out.
Ooh.
Oh, might have
gotten
hit
the pole.
Yeah. This is going to allow Leclerc to close up a little bit, though. Leclerc had to work around some lap traffic.
2 seconds. Oof. I mean, plenty of racing still. We're only at lap 15 minutes in out of 20 plus 1, so still a lot of time.
Behind that, former teammates Colton Mitchell and Mullins are going at it.
I was just going to say, yeah, Leclerc and Shipley going at it. Leclerc getting second.
Leclerc, again, unorthodox line. It allows Shipley to pull up even. If Leclerc can't get that quad out, it is absolutely not worth it what he's doing. And he hasn't got it for 3 or 4 laps in a row here, so.
And just like that, it allows the leader to get 4.4 up on second. So that's a big, big loss to the leader.
Mitchell is just not letting Mullins go here. Oh, but he does lose a little time there with the slide out.
Yeah. So Smith and Kohenauer now, 6th, 7th. We're right up there. Holm, great ride in 8th, just looking a little further back. Coat and Schmidt. I mean, everybody's having a fantastic ride, but these front guys are what's really worth watching. But Shipley versus Leclerc, that seems to be the good battle on the track right now.
Yeah, Armstrong he's kind of just not really the fastest guy amongst this group, but he's just has the track position, and he's really just holding on to that position for the time being. I wonder if this isn't going to maybe turn into a really gnarly battle down the stretch here as we get to these last couple laps. So here's Leclerc again, not doing the quad though, and I mean, look at how close Shipley got just doing the triple on off because of it.
Do you think E-Road's playing a factor in that quad?
Maybe, but he's jumping into 2 spots on the track that almost nobody's touching when he doubles in, because nobody's doubling in right there on a 450.
Very true, yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem. It's really about landing clean in the pocket on the table over single, and that has
here
eroded
comes Shipley.
A little bit, but yeah, I don't think it affects it that much.
Shipley's right on Leclerc.
Back on board with Shipley again.
This is allowing Armstrong again to open up 5 seconds.
Different lines again. Leclerc opting to go 3-3 out. Shipley goes 3-2 out by doing the quad in the middle of that rhythm section. So it's really interesting to see how these lines kind of even out.
Mullins and Mitchell are down. Don't mean to cut you off in 4th and 5th. So that allows, I think that was a lapper.
Yeah, that was a lap rider.
Mullins and Mitchell, both losing a lot of time.
See, okay, there we go. Leclerc just got that 4-4 out of the rhythm, and look at the time.
I caught it the last second.
Look at the time he gained on Shipley. That was almost worth a whole second by the end of that. So if he can figure out how to do that, he's going to close down really quickly on Armstrong.
I mean, Armstrong, he's playing the consistency card. Like, he's not taking the huge lines. He's taking big ones, but it's all about consistency, and that's the big thing about racing.
Yeah, these guys are insane. Oh, Leclerc went down. We missed it, but Leclerc has gone down, and now Mullins and Mitchell are going to be right behind him.
Oh, and then again goes down.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's really strange. Mitchell really tried to show Mullins a wheel. These guys are starting to get hung up a little bit on some of these inside ruts because there's so many inside lines everybody's taking as well.
Quickly looking at it, gap to the lead, 5.5 seconds. Armstrong over Shipley.
Mitchell gets the move on Mullins, who had a mistake. He had a small little slide out coming out before the whoops, and Mitchell dumps it right after that in the next corner. And Mullins is off the bike too, so Leclerc gifts the spot right back to him.
Here comes Kohenauer.
Whoa, that was not an ideal way to try to re-enter the racing there by Colton Mitchell, completely sideways, but looks like Kohenauer didn't go down, so I guess no harm, no foul.
I could say Armstrong's got to be feeling good right now at roughly 5.6 up. I mean, That's the position you want going into the last couple of laps.
Look at Smith also closing up on Kohenauer as well. This battle is really tight. Now all we need is the leaders to crash back to them, and then it'll be really insane.
Yeah, somehow if Armstrong makes one big mistake, that's going to drop him back to about 4th, 5th with how close everybody is.
Yeah, these
of course,
guys...
I'm meaning legs off, of course. But
right, yeah.
He almost got taken out by a lapper, too. Wow.
It looks like it must have been Holiak who was just on the ground right there.
Nope, pass up the inside. Kohenauer going after Mullins.
Yeah, Mullins has to relinquish that spot back because Kohenauer's got the inside, and he defended it very well, but Mullins is trying to sneak down the left side. Meanwhile, Smith has got the right side, almost 3 wide into the corner. 3 different manufacturers as well.
Man, Armstrong opened up 8.2. Wow.
Look at Smith showing a wheel to Kohenauer side by side. There was almost contact in the air. Smith gets the spot though. Clean pass. And white flag is actually out right now. I didn't even notice it, but last lap for Armstrong. This ending of the race has snuck up on us very quickly.
Yep, over 9 seconds up too. He has plenty of time.
But how about James Armstrong? Man, oh man, I talked about him right before this main event, how he still has a shot at this title with how flipped this thing is, and he has just asserted himself as a real title hopeful as he comes through, and James Armstrong is your winner tonight in Phoenix, the number 33 machine on top, and Shipley out of the LCQ and onto the podium, second for Shipley. And another podium for Leclerc. It looks like he will hang on to that points lead leaving here.
Oh, the battle for this other spot, though, for 4th right now. Looks like Mullins might... Nope, he backed off a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't think Mullins had a run anyway, but yeah, he backs out of it. Smith through the last corner. That last corner has got some gnarly little bumps in it.
Yeah,
how about
Tiberino
and Holm coming to the line here? Not over between these two. Both get the huck onto the table, off, and triple. Tiberino sends into the sand. Holm is trying to just protect the inside. Tiberino, how did he almost make that work? He was just completely sideways coming out of the corner. Oh, and Schmidt gets Coat back. Is he going to hold that spot? Coat sends it down the inside. Oh! Got him. There was riders down everywhere, so I don't think there was much more Tyler Schmidt could have done except for maybe come to a complete stop and let Coat just go right by him, but...
No changing cuts with the top 10.
Yeah. So that's how it stays. James Armstrong, your winner. The podium filled out by Shipley and Leclerc, and that is going to do it for Phoenix. Wow, oh wow, what a night of racing. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the broadcast. As always, thank you, MotoAgogo, for jumping in to co-host the main events.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, big shout out to all of our sponsors. Of course, 7th Year for MotoOption, sponsoring, title sponsor of the series. Huge shout out to Versus PC for being the presenting sponsor of this broadcast, Racetech Suspension, FamMX Designs, MXS Servers, and of course MXS EMF for putting on this whole shebang. But for Kellen Brauer here on Start Your Systems alongside MotoAgogo, we'll see you guys next week as we head to Oakland, where the chaos will continue in the 450 class, and everyone looks to dethrone Russ Chapman in the 250 class. But we'll see you guys then. So long for now.